Hey everyone, welcome back to That One Game Story. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the complete story of Gone Home from Fulbright Studios. Join us as we follow Caitlin's return home after spending a year abroad. She expects a warm welcome, but instead she finds the house completely empty. Something isn't right. There's no sign of her family, only silence and scattered clues waiting to be uncovered. Where did everyone go? What happened while she was away? What mysteries await her inside? In order to find out, I'm going to need you to sit back, relax, and enjoy That One Game Story, Gone Home.
Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really, seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so, love you. See you soon. Bye.
Our story begins on a stormy night on June 7th, 1995, at approximately 1:15 a.m. We have Caitlin arriving at her family's new home in Oregon after spending a year traveling through Europe. She's standing on the porch, rain pouring all around her, only to find that the front door is locked. She notices a note taped to the front door. It's from her younger sister, Samantha. The note reads, "Katie, I'm sorry I can't be there to see you, but it is impossible. Please don't go digging around trying to find out where I am. I don't want anyone to know. We'll see each other again someday. Don't be worried. I love you. Sam." Caitlin is overwhelmed by confusion as she tries to make sense of the cryptic message left by her sister Sam. Determined to uncover the truth, she searches for a way into the house and eventually discovers a hidden spare key that was left tucked under a small plastic Christmas duck inside the cabinet off to the left. With the key in hand, she unlocks the door and steps inside, only to find the house mysteriously empty. Wondering where Sam and her parents could be, Caitlin begins her search in the west wing of the house. As she explores, she comes across an invoice that was left on a small table. Under this invoice, she finds a journal entry from Sam titled, "At the New House."
Dear Katie, so much has changed, even just since you've been away. We moved into this house. I'm at a new school, and my big sister being gone for a year doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't feel real, but I'm not gonna let it faze me. I used to tell you everything, and if I can't do it in person, because you're off gallivanting around who knows where, I'll tell it to this journal, just like I was talking to you.
Hoping to find more clues, Caitlin decides to check the answer machine. She notices 3 messages. She begins to listen to them carefully, hoping they might reveal what happened to Sam and their parents.
Sam? Sam? Hello? Sam! Sam, where are you? Really? I need to talk to you. Please be there.
Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really, seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so, love you. See you soon. Bye.
After hearing the mysterious messages, Caitlin starts to question the identity of the woman reaching out to Sam. Determined to find answers, she continues her search throughout the West Wing. During her search, she discovers Sam's backpack tucked away in a closet Inside, she finds a welcome new student flyer, along with another journal entry from Sam titled First Day of School.
Oh my god. You are so lucky you finished high school before we moved into this house. So, it's the first day of school, and there I am, introducing myself to the class. And I say that I just moved into the house on Arbor Hill. All of a sudden, every kid in the room turns and just stares like I suddenly transformed into a mutant. I just stood there, wishing pretty hard for a rewind button. Because now maybe nobody knows my name, but they all know who I am. The Psycho House girl. Great.
As she presses on, Caitlin eventually comes across an old obituary for a man named Oscar Mason, who died at the age of 60. The obituary revealed that he had a nephew named Terrence Greenbriar, who happens to be Caitlin's and Sam's father. Caitlin, determined to uncover more answers, decides to investigate her father's office. While searching through his desk, she discovers a hidden compartment containing a letter from Oscar Mason. In this letter, it congratulates her father on his marriage and welcomes the family to his home at Arbor Hill. Continuing her search, Caitlin heads into the library. There she finds a folder. Inside this folder, she sees a letter from a review editor named Brent Kurtwood that's critiquing her father's most recent work. In this letter, he issues that her father exceeds the word limit and has a tendency of straying off topic. The letter also warns her father that the only reason why his job is secure was only due to his relationship with the boss, and that this was his last chance to improve his writing. Caitlin also noticed a 4-digit number on the side of the folder, and that number read 0451. She began to wonder what this code could be for, and then remembered that back in her father's office there was a locked cabinet. Thinking that this could lead to more clues on the whereabouts of her family, she proceeds to head back to her father's office to try and open the cabinet. Inside, she uncovers a will that's dated back to August 13th, 1973. The will revealed that Oscar Mason, who had no children or debt, left all of his valuable assets, including Arbor Hill property, to Caitlin's father. And if Caitlin's father happened to die before Oscar, then everything will go to Sam and Caitlin. Caitlin realized this explains how her parents acquired this house, as it used to belong to Oscar Mason. Caitlin proceeds to head to the TV room and search for more clues. Once inside, she notices a severe weather storm watch on the TV. Next to TV, she spots a book titled Making Friends Even When You're Shy. As Caitlin flips through the book, she finds a journal entry from Sam titled Big Gold Star.
You know that feeling where the first moment you see someone, it's like they have a big gold star around them, and you have to get to know them? Well, there's this girl. I think she's a senior. She's usually dressed kind of punk, but sometimes I see her in this, army uniform, and she's always drawing in this notebook, looking so intense. I had no idea how I would ever, have an excuse to talk to her. Till I noticed she and her friends hang out and play Street Fighter at the 7-Eleven every day after school.
While exploring the TV room some more, Caitlin finds a letter addressed to her father from someone named Mike. The letter congratulates him on his success as a published author and mentions that Mike's editor at High Five Aficionado was looking for a freelancer due to an amount of heavy overload of work. Mike recommended Caitlin's father for the job and encouraged him to send writing samples to their editor. Caitlin then moves on to search the music room, where she discovers another letter addressed to her father from someone named Donald Fribbs, the publisher of Mercury Books. In this letter, it informs Caitlin's father that they would not be publishing his follow-up to The Accidental Pariah due to low sales of The Accidental Savior. Donald expressed appreciation for the collaboration and provided the contact information for David Wearer, encouraging Caitlin's father to send samples for review. As Caitlin continues her search through the music room, she discovers a letter instructing Sam to give it to her mother. While reading through this letter, she also finds another journal entry attached to it from Sam titled Default Friends.
When you live in one place your whole life, your next door neighbor is kind of like your default friend. And Daniel only got weirder over the years. So moving away has been a good excuse to, not see him anymore. But he did always have the good Nintendo games. Maybe I'll give him a call.
Caitlin leaves the music room and proceeds to head towards the basement. As she's making her way through the hall, she comes across a dresser where she finds a note from Sam addressed to her. In this note, Sam is asking her to apologize to their parents for the missing items around the house. Caitlin continues to search through the drawers of the dresser, and she finds another letter from Sam, except this one's addressed to someone named Lonnie. In this letter, Sam is inviting Lonnie to visit and offering to even pick her up and take her home. Along with this letter, Caitlin discovers another journal entry from Sam. This one's titled Best Laid Plans.
So you know what they say about the best laid plans of mice and men? Yeah, turns out it applies to Street Fighter too. At least I worked up the courage to walk into the 7-Eleven and ask for a turn, but all that practice at home did not exactly translate in the wild.
Caitlin begins to wonder if Lonnie was the woman she heard on the answer machine, crying out to Sam. Caitlin continues to make her way to the basement, only to find that the door was locked. She decides to focus on exploring the upstairs area of the house and hoping to uncover more clues about her family's whereabouts. Caitlin finally makes her way to the upstairs part of the house, heading down the hall towards what appears to be Sam's bedroom. Along the way, she finds a cassette tape labeled Brat Mobile Potty Mouth and a journal entry from Sam titled Hanging Out with Girls.
It's weird hanging out with girls. Daniel was around ever since I was little, and other girls? I don't know. But being around Lonnie is instantly just right. I gave her the grand Psycho House tour and took my revenge on Super Nintendo. And it was I don't know. I finally found someone I feel normal around. I drove her home and she gave me this tape and said, "You have got to listen to this." I haven't stopped playing it since.
Continuing on to Sam's bedroom, Caitlin encounters a locked locker and couldn't figure out the combination. She proceeds to search through all of Sam's belongings, but had no luck finding the code. Without any new clues about her family's whereabouts, Caitlin moves on and eventually reaches Sam's bathroom. There she discovers a bottle of red semi-permanent hair dye, along with another journal entry from Sam, titled Dealing with Roots.
Lonnie brought her hair dye over today. She said, "I need to fix these roots. Think you could help?" Dyeing hair is weirdly intimate. I don't know if I've touched someone else's scalp before. That's pretty intimate, right? It felt intimate. We looked in the mirror together after, and I expected her to say something about how it looked crappy or good or whatever. But that's when she said, "You're so beautiful." And she was looking at me. Right in that moment, I wanted to say something, but I waited, and the moment was gone.
Next, Caitlin enters her parents' bedroom in hopes of finding any other clues. During her search, she comes across a letter that's addressed to her mother from someone named Carol. In this letter, Carol expressed empathy for Caitlin's mother, acknowledging that her and her own husband Bob had also experienced difficult times in their own relationship. She also notes how couples often grow apart as their children grow up and eventually leave the home. Carol also points out that Caitlin's father's slump would eventually pass, and that Sam acting distant was just her usual typical teenage behavior. Caitlin continues reading more of the letter as the tone shifts to a lighter note. Carol expressed her excitement about the control burn project that Caitlin's mother was working on, and she also mentions the new ranger that got stationed with her, referring to him as Ranger Rick. Carol encourages Caitlin's mother to share all the details and the photos of her project, all while offering her support and urging her to write more letters as Carol treasures them. Finding nothing of significance in her parents' room, Caitlin moves on to the guest room. There she discovers a ghost hunter journal belonging to Sam. The journal details Sam's belief that the house was actually being haunted by their uncle Oscar Mason, and included timestamps of various ghost sightings that Sam and Lonnie had experienced. The sightings range from sensing a presence in the TV room, to Lonnie staying overnight to patrol the house and document any signs of ghosts. Despite uncovering these intriguing details, the mystery of Caitlin's family's whereabouts remained unresolved, prompting Caitlin to continue her search. As Caitlin continues her search, she discovers a performance evaluation written by her mother in the sitting room of the house. This evaluation was for someone named Richard. Caitlin begins to wonder if this is the same Richard that was referred to as Ranger Rick in one of the letters she found in her parents' bedroom. In the evaluation, Ranger Richard was commended for his role in a successful prescribed burn operation, which highlights his expertise and dedication. Additionally, Caitlin's mother requested his permanent reassignment to her station. While searching through the dresser in the same room, Caitlin finds a note titled "The Halloween Show," addressed from Lonnie to Sam. It was an invitation to a Halloween concert featuring the band The Misfits. Attached to this note was a journal entry from Sam labeled "Lie to Mom and Dad Situation."
Sometimes you just have to lie to Mom and Dad. Like when Lonnie asked me to see a band with her and stay over at her friend's place in the city after. That's a lie to Mom and Dad situation. But it was so worth it. The girls on stage were just so loud and real and awesome. And everybody was moving together like one huge tide of sound. Between two songs, Lonnie leaned over and said, "How do you like your first show?" I was so happy. I felt tears starting in my eyes. And then she up and hugged me. I think she could tell.
Caitlin then moves into the adjacent sewing room, where she discovers a letter from Sam to Lonnie. In this letter, Sam describes an unusual find in the library, a secret passage that contains some of their Uncle Oscar's old belongings. The letter also includes a hand-drawn map that shows the location of the passage, which leads from the library to their parents' room. With the new clue in hand, Caitlin returns to her parents' room, where she discovers a hidden panel in the closet. This panel confirms the existence of the secret passage mentioned in Sam's letter. Inside the passage, she finds one of Sam's ghost hunter logs. The log noted 3 hidden compartments located throughout the house, one in the library, one in the upstairs hallway, and the last one in the foyer. However, Sam also pointed out that they still haven't found any evidence of anything supernatural. As Caitlin continues through the passage, she emerged into the library, where she made her way to the first hidden compartment. There she discovers a flyer for the Misfits, and another journal entry from Sam titled "Adjusting to the Dark."
At Todd's brother's place after the show, there was only a futon to sleep on, so Lonnie and I shared it. The lights went out. I was turned toward her. My eyes started to adjust, and then I could see she was looking at me, too. In the dark, she smiled. My heart was beating so fast. I rolled over. I felt so, nervous. After a minute, she put her arm around me and was so close and whispered in my ear, "I really like you." I just nodded my head, and I really hope she could tell. I really hope that she meant what I think she did. I felt like a shook-up can of soda ever since. I hope we have the chance to talk before I explode.
Determined to uncover more clues, Caitlin moves to the foyer, where she discovers the second hidden compartment. Inside, she finds a scrap of paper that appears to be the second half of the combination code for Sam's locker, along with the manuscript that Sam had written in the 9th grade. Armed with these new pieces of information, Caitlin continues her search through the house, hoping to find more as she makes her way upstairs to the third and final hidden compartment. In the last compartment, Caitlin finds the first half of the combination code needed to unlock Sam's locker. Along with it, she discovers a Ouija board and a note that suggests that Sam had tried to communicate with their Uncle Oscar. Now that Caitlin had the complete combination code, she proceeds to head back to Sam's bedroom to unlock Sam's locker. Once inside, she finds the key to the basement and a photo of Lonnie. Behind the photo, she finds another journal entry from Sam titled, "There was nothing wrong."
Lonnie came over today, but everything was different. She was sitting at my desk chair, and she wouldn't look at me. Finally, I asked her what was going on. She said she felt like she'd done something wrong that night in the city. Like I must think But I said no. There was nothing wrong. I just wanted to say... But I couldn't find the words. I felt like I was gonna cry, but I wasn't sad. She got up and sat next to me on the bed. I looked at her. Lonnie, do you think you could ever... And that's when she kissed me.
Now armed with the basement key, Caitlin proceeds to head downstairs, determined to find more clues about her family's whereabouts. As Caitlin enters the basement, she makes her way to the storage area, where she stumbles upon a drawing that bore the initials of Sam and Lonnie. Next to it, she finds a journal entry from Sam titled, "It's different now."
It's different now. I mean, we still hang out all the time like before. But now when no one else is around... Well, you know. So you could say we're dating. But it's secret. Secret dating? I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the real difference. Now when we get off the phone, or go home for the night, or it's just quiet and we're alone, we say I love you.
Continuing her search, Caitlin discovers an acceptance letter from Reed College for Sam's creative writing summer program. This brought a smile to Caitlin's face, as she's always known about her sister's passion for writing, and was thrilled that she accepted into the program. Behind the acceptance letter, Caitlin finds another journal entry from Sam titled "Ship Date."
I'm so stupid sometimes. I was telling Lonnie that I got into my college summer program thing, and I was all making plans like, you should come visit me, stay in my dorm room. But she said, Sam, I ship out on June 6th. I was like, ship out? To where? She said, to basic training. What did you think I was doing all that ROTC stuff for? I guess she's been planning to join the Army right after high school since she was like 12. And I guess she's really going to do it. So I was like, after graduation, I'm just never going to see you again? She said, let's just have fun while we can.
As Caitlin continues her search through the basement, she stumbles upon one of her father's books. On the back of it contained a note from her grandpa Richard. The note congratulates Caitlin's father on the publication of his very first book, acknowledging it as a significant achievement. However, Grandpa Richard also critiqued the book for relying on generic cliches and unrealistic scientific plot elements. He urges his son to move beyond artificial storytelling and encourages him to strive for authenticity in his writing, expressing confidence in his ability to produce even greater work. Caitlin continues her search and stumbles upon the junk room of the basement. Inside, she discovers an old postcard that Lonnie had sent to Sam, along with a journal entry from Sam titled "Stick with the Group."
They tell you to stick with the group on field trips, Katie. There's a reason for that. Lonnie and I snuck off on the side paths at Multnomah Falls and got a little lost. Okay, a lot lost. Like, for hours. Right before the bus left, we found a trail and came running down the path, soaked and covered in mud, shouting for the bus not to leave. The school called home. Mom and Dad said, you didn't get into trouble like this before you met that Lonnie girl. But I don't think they know about us. The kids at school, though, I'm really afraid that's a whole other story. Stick with the group, Katie. Stick with the group.
After that, she makes her way to the servants' room, where she finds a scrap of paper taped to the wall. The paper had a list of band names, and behind it was another journal entry from Sam titled "I Can Sing."
Todd's band lost their singer. Todd said he sucked. Lonnie said he got sick of Todd's shit, and he was complaining about needing a new singer. So Lonnie was like, I can sing. And they were all kind of like, you can? And she was like, probably. But she's been rehearsing with them for like a week now, and I finally got to see them play in Todd's basement today. And she's actually really amazing. I feel so proud when she's on stage. It's incredible being in awe of someone you love. So everybody knows it's like a temporary situation till she ships out in June. But till then, I'm gonna be at every single show.
In her continued search, Caitlin discovers a letter from Principal Sheldon addressed to Sam. The letter acknowledges that defacing school property was unacceptable. It mentions that claims of retaliation were irrelevant, as no individual had been identified as responsible for defacing Sam's locker. The principal advises Sam to drop the issue to avoid drawing unwanted attention. Behind this letter, Caitlin finds another journal entry from Sam titled Getting Lonnie.
I don't get Lonnie sometimes. Like, her band, and our zine, and her hair, and everything are all anti-authority. But I watch her in JROTC, and she's doing drills in perfect formation, following orders, no question. And there's all this stuff in the news about don't ask, don't tell. Like, she's going to join the army and then have to lie about who she is. She said they don't need to know what they don't need to know. Like it was no big deal. This from the girl who trashed her locker to, like, defend my honor. I've learned when to stop arguing, though. I don't think Lonnie even gets Lonnie sometimes.
While still in the basement, Caitlin discovers a lever that opens a hidden doorway leading to the guest room upstairs. She found it unsettling, as there was a secret passage to the guest room. As she continued exploring, Caitlin comes across another hidden doorway. This time it leads to the east wing of the house. There she begins her search for more clues and found a note inside a folder that was near a small table next to the hidden door. The note was an exchange between Sam and Lonnie, in which Sam apologizes for how her mother had treated Lonnie the previous night. Sam explained that her mother, who was often away for work, tended to take out her frustration out on others, especially Lonnie, knowing that Lonnie wouldn't confront her back. Lonnie brushes off the situation with humor, suggesting that Sam's mom was just jealous of their carefree lifestyle and expressed empathy for Sam's situation. Sam felt guilty for expressing her complaints and quickly reconsidered her words. However, Lonnie confronts her by sharing her own experiences. She mentions that her mother was strict and that her stepfather was unbearable. Lonnie implied that living with them in Florida felt like a punishment. Behind this letter, Caitlin discovers another journal entry from Sam titled The Nunnery.
Katie, you know how Mom and Dad are. Not exactly super open-minded about things. It feels like every minute I don't spend with Lonnie, I spend worrying about them finding out about us. And what would happen if they did? You know Dad's joke about the nunnery that he'd tell whenever he brought boys around the old house? I wonder where he'd want to send me.
Caitlin enters the dining room and discovers a note from Richard addressed to her mother. In the note, Richard mentioned he had an extra ticket to an Earth, Wind, and Fire concert, and because his girlfriend wasn't interested in going, he asked if Caitlin's mother would like to join him. Caitlin then remembered coming across a ticket stub from the show, confirming that her mother did in fact attend the concert with her co-worker Richard. This made Caitlin wonder if there was something more going on between her mother and Richard. While searching through her drawer, Caitlin finds another letter from Carol. In this letter, Carol is congratulating Caitlin's mother on being offered the position of regional director, assuming that she would accept the job. Carol is urging her to call her back immediately for more details. Caitlin was then filled with joy to learn that her mother had been offered such a fantastic role, and she knew her mother deserved it after all her hard work. Carol then shifts the conversation to the most recent outing that Caitlin's mother had with Richard, jokingly questioned whether or not she might be reading too much into it, especially since Richard had a girlfriend out of town. Carol then expressed excitement about seeing Caitlin's mother in person and insisted they move beyond letters to celebrate her new job position with a margarita. Caitlin continues her search and notices a folder on the dining room table that appeared to belong to Sam. Inside, she discovers a disciplinary referral, along with a letter from her dad addressed to Sam. In the letter, he clearly outlines the consequences of Sam's earlier refusal to listen. Caitlin's parents had grounded Sam for the rest of the month, which included taking away her telephone privileges and limiting her car use to school only. While they acknowledged her struggles, they made it clear that they could not tolerate her behavior at school. Furthermore, once her privileges were restored, Sam would no longer be allowed to keep her bedroom door closed when Lonnie was over. The letter concluded with a firm statement that the consequences were final and urges Sam to get back on track to avoid any further repercussions. Behind the letter, Caitlin finds another journal entry from Sam titled "A Very Long Phase."
I had an interesting talk with Mom and Dad tonight. One you were never gonna need to have. I mean, you've known, right? I've known. I've known since, like, She-Ra. Mom and Dad didn't, I guess. But they saw the zine and the stuff on the locker, and they were like, is there something we should know about you and Lonnie? And so here's the thing. I was prepared for them to be mad, or disappointed, or start crying, or something. But they were just in denial. You're too young to know what you want. You and Lonnie are just good friends. You just haven't met the right boy. It's a phase. That's what I didn't see coming. That they wouldn't even respect me enough to believe me. Well, joke's on them, because they're in for one very long phase.
Caitlin leaves the dining room and proceeds to head to the kitchen. Once inside, she notices that the renovations were underway. She also spots on the refrigerator a wedding invitation addressed to her parents for the wedding of Richard. This was a huge relief for Caitlin, as she hoped this confirms that nothing had happened between Richard and her mother. While continuing her search through the kitchen, she comes across a story that Sam had written about herself and Daniel. Behind it was another journal entry from Sam titled Daniel.
Daniel finally came over to get his game. I'd been dreading it. But he brought this story with him that I wrote when we were little. I started reading it, and then there I was, crying at the kitchen table. He asked what was wrong, and I was thinking about how we used to be friends, how much I'd taken for granted. But instead, I told him about school, and Dad, and Lonnie, and then how sorry I was that I wasn't his friend anymore. He gave me a hug and said it was going to be okay. And for some reason, I almost believed him.
As Caitlin searches the kitchen, she proceeds to move into the garage in hope of finding any type of clues. There she discovers a letter from a publisher at the Unknown Dimension. In this letter, it proposes a plan to republish her father's accidental series. The publisher was excited after discovering her father's book at a church rumbling sale, and reached out for permission to reprint The Accidental Savior and The Accidental Pariah in hopes to find a new audience for this series. The publisher offered a limited run on the books, along with a sharing of the proceeds, inviting her father to help relive his published work. This brought a smile to Caitlin's face, as she knew how much this book series meant to her father. Caitlin notices the cars were missing from the garage. While digging through the trash for any clues, she finds a note from Sam to Lonnie. In this note, Sam informs Lonnie that her parents will be out of town, giving them the house to themselves. Caitlin was able to confirm that this was true because she also spotted a note on the wall from her parents addressed to Sam. The note stated that they will be celebrating their anniversary on a camping trip from June 3rd to June 7th, and that they would give Sam a call on their way home. Caitlin now knew this solved the mystery of her parents' whereabouts, but now she begins to wonder where could Sam possibly be. Caitlin proceeds to leave the garage when she spots a bike with a green beret on the handlebars. When she picks it up, a journal entry from Sam titled Just Gone falls out.
I asked Lonnie what she had to do to get ready to ship out for basic training. She said, not a lot really. You're not allowed to bring anything with you. You have no possessions, no contact with the outside world while you're in basic. You just train hard every day, and then you deploy from there. So, they'll just send her away. To who knows where. The other side of the country. The other side of the world. My mind, can't process it. She's really going to be gone. Just gone.
As she walks to the laundry room, She notices an open hidden panel in the hallway. Inside, she discovers a flyer for Booted Out, the Girl Scouts' last show ever, and another journal entry from Sam titled Dedication.
Lonnie had her going away show with her band tonight. She's so incredible on stage. When she was singing, I could practically forget everything. That we only had 48 hours left. That I don't know what comes next. That I can't live without her. Then she dedicated the last song to me. And I couldn't take it. I was out on the curb in the alley, sobbing till my ribs hurt. I would follow her anywhere, Katie. But I can't. Where she's going. After a long time, she found me. She said she was sorry. She said, I wish things could be different. I just wanted to make you happy. I said, I don't think you can anymore.
When Caitlin arrives at the laundry room, she discovers a note in the dryer. The note is from Lonnie to Sam. In this note, Lonnie explains that the Army has always played a significant part in her life. She mentions that her father's Army friends were like family to her, and that they always believed that one day she would join the Army as well. Lonnie expressed her hope that things could be different, and that perhaps maybe one day her and Sam could be together. Caitlin enters the greenhouse and proceeds to look around. She notices her father's typewriter set up as if he's been working on one of his books. Eager to find more answers, she begins to shift through his belongings. While doing so, she stumbles upon a pamphlet for Couples Council and Retreat, with the dates June 3rd and 7th circled. It dawns on her that her parents were spending their anniversary at a couples retreat, confirming that they were indeed having issues, but were willing to work on them together. Caitlin is determined to find any clues on Sam's whereabouts, so she proceeds to continue looking through her father's belongings. There she finds a letter that he wrote to the publisher at Unknown Dimensions. In it, he expresses excitement about the John Russell series being brought back into print and thanks him for the new editions, all while praising the new cover art. He notes that while Unknown Dimension usually doesn't publish new material, the interest in his work has inspired him to write a manuscript to complete the John Russell journey. He describes it's filled with thrilling and bizarre elements readers can expect, hoping the publisher would consider his new direction. Caitlin discovers what looks to be a hand-drawn map in the back of the greenhouse. The map has the following written on it: Where we'll do it. Midnight, June 5th. Final preparations are complete. And also what seems to be the outline of a location of a secret room. Attached to this map was also another journal entry from Sam titled Life Moves On.
We agreed our last night together would be our happiest ever, and we'd forget tomorrow was going to come at all. It worked for a while. We had a good time seeing Oscar off, then ran up to the attic to look through our photos, to find one for Lonnie to take with her. And looking at them, I realized they were all in the past, and there wouldn't be any more. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I cried. And she held me. She said she knew it was hard, but life would move on. I said I didn't want my life to keep moving without her. That's when she cried too. I was so exhausted. I must have fallen asleep like that, in her arms. In the morning, I woke up, and I was finally alone.
Following his new lead, Caitlin rushes to the secret room, where she finds the remnants of Sam and Lonnie's seance setup. Among the scattered items, she discovers a photo of Oscar Mason, and more importantly, the key to the attic, along with another journal entry from Sam titled, In the Attic.
The sunset light in this house is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just want to sleep. When I'm in the attic, it almost feels like Lonnie could still be here. She's just downstairs. I'm just waiting to hear her pull down the hatch and come running up. Maybe I'll go up to the attic and wait.
Caitlin finally makes it to the attic, hoping to finally find Sam. Upon entering, she discovers a sleeping bag and a drawing of a heart pendant described with S and L. Nearby, she finds a journal entry from Sam titled, "I Said Yes."
Oh my god. Katie, I fell asleep in the attic, in Lonnie and my old spot, and I missed the first 2 calls. I just barely caught the third one before the machine got it. And it was Lonnie, on a payphone. She'd been on the bus to Basic, and she said she couldn't think of anything but me and us, and that she couldn't go through with it, with the Army and being apart and all of it. And so she got off the bus in Salem. She said, "Sam, I want you to pack up everything you can and get in your car and come find me. And let's just drive until we find somewhere for us." And she asked me if I could do that. And I said yes. Yes.
As Caitlin continues to explore, she comes across a dark room filled with photos of Sam and Lonnie, a space that reflects their deep connections. In the far corner of the attic, she finds a notebook labeled "Letters to Katie." When she opens it, she reads Sam's final journal entry, thus bringing that one game story to a close.
Katie, I'm so sorry that I can't be there to see you in person, that I can't tell you all this myself. But I hope as you read this journal and you think back, that you'll understand why I had to do what I did. And that you won't be sad, and you won't hate me, and you'll just know that I am where I need to be. I love you so much, Katie. I'll see you again someday. Love,